Hey, this is Andy, and this is Dr. Simon Chard. Dr. Simon Chard, what do you do?
I'm a dentist, but the co-founder of Parla Oral Care.
And what problem is Parla Oral Care trying to solve?
Every tube of toothpaste you've ever used still exists somewhere on the planet. It's made of single-use plastic, which is making its way into our oceans, and we've had enough of that.
And you've really got to check it out because basically we're all brushing our teeth wrong with the wrong equipment. I'm Andy Uri, and alongside me is my co-host, Pippa Sturt.
Hi, Andy.
Hello, Pippa. And today we are joined by Dr. Simon Chard, who is one of the UK's leading cosmetic dentists and oral wellness experts. Try and say that with something in your mouth. Simon is also co-founder of a next-generation B Corp certified sustainable oral care brand called Perla, pioneering plastic-free oral care with cutting-edge ingredients. Following their appearance on Dragon's Den in 2021, Perla has amassed a huge following, been listed in supermarkets and pharmacies across the UK, and has become one of the leading lights in modern oral care. Simon, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Very impressive list on your CV too. You seem to have won every sort of possible dentist award. It's very impressive, you know. And tell us what this Perla is about. And in terms of, I mean, first of all, maybe controversially, I'm going to say, what is Perla as a product? How does it work?
So we provide a range of oral care products, and the focus of all of our products is to eradicate single-use plastic from dentistry. So every single tube of toothpaste you've ever used still exists somewhere on the planet. They're made of single-use plastic.
That's a terrifying thought.
Which takes up to 500 years to break down. The plastic's making its way into our ecosystem, into our bloodstreams, into our breast milk, and being passed on to the next generation. And I am very passionate about the ocean. It's my favorite place to be, in it, on it, by it. And when I heard that by 2050, there's going to be more plastic in the ocean than fish, and realized, we were chatting about my kids before we started, realized that my daughter who had just been born was going to be my age by then. I wanted to do my little bit in my own industry to stop unnecessary plastic from being thrown into the environment. So our sort of hero products were toothpaste tablets. So dehydrated tablets of toothpaste, which are in glass jars with an aluminium lid, completely refillable with compostable plant-based bags. And we've also since then launched mouthwash tablets, plastic-free brushes, plastic-free floss. So yeah, that's
It's
it.
funny how these industries sort of just carry on for generation after generation. I don't know who came up with the toothpaste tube.
I can't work out why you wouldn't. Is there some reason why they can't make a toothpaste tube out of recyclable plastic?
So Colgate introduced that in 2021. But the reality of the situation is that most of those tubes aren't getting recycled.
Right.
Even if the big plastic count from last year showed that I think 12% of recyclable plastic actually gets recycled. Even less than that from the bathroom. And so it's still plastic, and those microplastics still make their way into our environment. Even if they do get recycled, they can only be recycled a finite number of times before the plastic denatures and then just enters the environment anyway. So you're just sort of kicking a can down the road.
Even in landfill, sitting in landfill, it ends up in the environment. I mean, it's in the environment, but it's buried. You know, that's where most of it is, I guess. I don't know, just being
But it's buried in the environment. I mean, the planet is only so big.
Yeah.
We can't dig holes to bury all of it because 20 billion of them go into landfill.
I'm not pro burying stuff in the ground, but you'd be amazed how much you can bury in the ground because, like you just said, all the tubes are still out there. And most of them are in landfill. We don't drive,
see them everywhere.
Yeah, we don't drive along England going, fucking hell, you know, look at that, you know.
But our oceans are full of plastic.
True.
That's the reality of the situation. And we're eating fish, or we're eating things that are eating fish. And so I can't remember what the statistic is off the top of my head now, but it's something like 90% of us have plastic in our bodies. Some horrible statistic about how many of our, all sorts of our organs have got plastic in them, and it's alarming. Did
you see the plastic cleanup project that people are trying to clean up that, you know, they called it the Bermuda Triangle of plastic or something they call it anyway, where they only spotted it on a satellite. They were like, what's that?
Yeah.
And then they've come up with this way of like cleaning it up and stuff. And then these other people are going, no, don't clean it up because all these fish hang out there because it's become this floating Reef. It's like these issues are just like, oh my God. It's just like you can't win. You know, you can't even move. Well, I mean, it's brilliant what you're doing in terms of, is the main thing the tube? Is that the main culprit when it comes to dental healthcare? What else is plastic? Toothbrushes or?
Yes, I mean, toothbrushes, floss is single-use plastic thread held in a single-use plastic box wrapped in single-use plastic. The triple threat of plastic, we call it.
The triple threat of plastic.
So we've invented a compostable plant-based thread, which is obviously plastic-free, and then a glass jar, which is refillable with an aluminium lid. So we're just using our dentist knowledge. Parla means pearl in Swedish, and we felt that was the best representation of pearly white smile because we're designed by dentists, and pearl of the ocean because our focus is to protect the ocean from plastic. So that's the reason that the brand was born. And then since then, we've sort of really focused and iterated on the ingredients because there's a lot of problems with the ingredients that are used in mass market toothpaste. We think it can be done better. And so we're sort of moving more into the functional oral care space.
I mean, you're talking about changing people's habits, aren't you? And so that's usually quite difficult, but it sounds like things are going okay. It's usually really hard to change people's habits. People are happy to go from a tube of toothpaste to, because people are just in a mindset.
Particularly habits that are just like,
I need toothpaste.
Twice a day, every day.
There's not many habits that you do twice a day, every day.
Yeah, plus you're it's a thing that I've been trained that is a good thing to do. Mm-hmm. So I don't buy toothpaste with a feeling of guilt. I buy toothpaste with a feeling of, oh yeah, I need to get toothpaste.
Maybe you should have guilt. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, no, that's the point, isn't it? But I don't think we necessarily attach it in our basket to a sort of like, this is a healthcare thing. I must clean my teeth or I'll get heart disease.
And you should do it. At the end of the day, I'm a dentist and oral health is my main focus. Which is why it's one of the reasons that we entered the market, because there were green, what I would call hippie brands in the space already. You had the big multinationals and then the hippie brands. We wanted to be that middle ground that was better for you, better for the planet, but not going to be at the sacrifice of having the right ingredients in there, because there was a leaning towards just throwing the baby out with the bathwater with regards to what ingredients were left in these products, and they weren't really effective. So Parla is that sort of happy medium between ethically minded, good ethos, obviously B Corp certified, but also like you're doing the right thing for your teeth.
So apart from the plastics, what should be in the ingredients? I mean, nobody really understands it. You know, it says recommended by dentist Sensodyne or whatever.
Like every toothpaste is recommended by some dentist somewhere, right?
Well, they're paid to do so.
I was about to say they're paid to do so.
I was on the Oral-B TV advert, which is why I stopped doing that and made my own thing.
Oh, wow. And I mean, what should be in a toothpaste? I mean, is fluoride the way to go? I mean, you know, there's all this. I mean, I saw Kanye West saying that fluoride blocks some.
Kanye West is mental.
I know. But
don't take oral health advice from Kanye.
Other advice is fine. No, wait.
Top tips of the day. Don't take oral health advice.
I think he recently had his teeth taken out and some titanium blocks put in there on implants.
Anyway, what should we clean our teeth with? Because there's a myriad of stuff. And as you say, the hippie brands, they're still in tubes, but they would be like weird.
The obvious answer is Parla.
Parla. But really, what's in Parla, you know?
So everything you need, nothing you don't is the simple answer. So even with the majority of pastes, they have a load of artificial preservatives, artificial flavorings, colorings like titanium dioxide and SLS, a foaming agent, which is really harsh. And oftentimes we have lots of patients, anyone who's a dentist will tell you this, where they come in and say, I've got a really sore mouth. I'm not sure why. I'm getting ulcers. My gums are sort of sloughing away. And then you change them away from those sort of harsher foaming agents and it completely resolves and it's like a miracle. Because it can be very bad for
don't all toothpaste foam? They almost all foam, don't they?
And yes, because they have this SLS in them, and we're conditioned to be used to that.
Expect it to happen.
I expect some foaming. Yeah.
But there are alternative foaming agents that are based on coconut and that sort of thing that are milder, but still give you that foam. So that's been our focus.
So the hippie, poor hippie brands, the good brands have been out there a while removing these ingredients. Mm-hmm. I don't think they've really smashed the market though, have I? We're all kind of Colgate, you know. Ani, what do you
use Colgate?
Well, whichever one of the
I use Sensodyne actually.
Sensodyne. Is Sensodyne?
Don't know why.
We need to talk.
Yeah, is Sensodyne any good? I mean, that's got something
great.
into filth.
Ruin my life. Why don't you?
No, but it's a minefield. One of them.
A mirage in a minefield.
A mirage in a minefield. Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously you're here to promote your product, but just on a simple, basic understanding of what are these different products doing? Because Sensodyne is trying to fill holes. Is that BS?
Sensodyne's got an ingredient in it which is effective at preventing sensitivity.
Okay.
But the reality is, all these mass market toothpaste brands have the ingredients in them that you need.
Like they've just got a lot of ones. Yeah.
The other reality is that you can't sell a toothpaste at £1 and expect the ingredients in there to be of high quality, because it's not physically possible to make it. I mean, my product costs significantly more than that to make, never mind to sell at the retail. Now, obviously they have the benefit of scale and volume, but the reality is they are driving the price down, down, down. And if you're going to do that, you have to compromise on the ingredients that you use. But we wanted to focus on quality sourcing, ethical sourcing, which is why we're able to achieve B Corp status, where I'd be very surprised if any of the big multinational brands were able to do that.
Is it still true? It used to be the case, because I was at university with a guy who was training to be a dentist. And we always used to talk about the fact that dentists commit suicide almost as much as farmers. They're like the second most.
Yeah,
farmers kill themselves a lot?
Yes.
We have basically double the rates of all mental health issues versus the general population.
What is a mouth's that bad?
I think it's a mixture of things. It's quite a lonely environment. Everyone that comes in to see you, especially if you do sort of routine dentistry that's like drill and fill type stuff, they don't want to be there. Which is why I'm a cosmetic dentist, because there's actually a reason that people want to come and see me. And it's very like micro, like tiny margins for error.
So it's quite stressful.
Yeah, I think it's just chronic stress. I've done quite a lot of research into it, because I lecture. It's one of the topics that I lecture on to other dentists, is like general well-being.
Yeah.
But they did a study like in 2020 saying that 50% of dentists want to leave the profession for reasons of personal well-being.
Can't be the same as doctors. Doctors have got to be worse. I mean, just a medical doctor.
But the thing about doctors is, like, you know, I suppose it's the same with dentists, but it feels a bit more with doctors. You're all in practice together. Doctors tend to wander around the practice a lot, chatting to each other, as far as I can tell. Because then, like,
I think you would offend a lot of doctors.
But you sit there waiting for your appointment, and they're talking in the
doctors.
Yeah. All the time.
I don't know
anyway,
any doctor.
And also, they're
dentists
talking
actually
to
earn
patients,
money, which is
but they're also
novel.
talking to, like, you're having a conversation the whole time as a doctor, right? And it's probably quite a lot about social interaction. Whereas dentists, people have got their mouths open.
Well, you're a mirror for the emotions that you see. I'm sure doctors are very, very similar. I'm not sure why dentists struggle more than doctors do.
What's keeping you up at night within this journey? How long have you? When did you launch? 2020 or something?
2020. Yeah, 2020. Just at the start of the pandemic.
Okay, and in terms of where's the business going at the moment? Is this becoming your primary concern, or you're still, you run a clinic on the side, or? I
have a clinic. I work clinically part-time.
This is the side hustle though, right?
It certainly started as a side hustle.
So what was Dragon's Den like?
It was a strange experience. We filmed it in September 2020, so it was still very COVID times, and we were really unsure as to whether or not it was going to go ahead or not. But it was an amazing experience. I mean, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. We were filming for 2.5 hours straight with no
2.5 hours,
no cuts, no breaks, nothing.
That makes us look puny.
Wow.
It was, I think, the hottest day ever in Manchester. And I was wearing a very thick double-breasted suit, and I could feel the sweat going down my neck.
Oh, God.
which this kind videographer said to me as I walked off the set, you looked very hot there. We actually did a crashing focus on the sweat bead going down your neck. And I was like, great, can't wait to see that on BBC.
So Simon's stressed about the decision. No,
Sweaty dentist apply.
Yeah. Brilliant.
Did anyone kind of offer to invest?
Yeah, we had offers from Deborah Meaden and Tej Lavani when he was still on. This is pre-Bartlett days, and but they wanted 30% of the business. for 70 grand.
Really?
Yes. The
So
words
we
fuck off do
countered
spring to mind.
and they wouldn't budge. So we left. But it was brilliant for us. I mean, we'd only been trading. We'd done like 60 grand's worth of sales at that point. We've been trading for like a few months. So we were there primarily for the
Marketing.
exposure opportunity, and it did that in spades. And yeah, it was amazing watching it on BBC. I mean, had like 15-minute section. I think we came across really well, and it was a good litmus test for the brand to say, okay, if we can get this in front of enough people and tell them about this issue, actually people want to make a change for the better. So we've just got to get it in front of enough people's eyes as we can do, and that's been the focus since then.
So you were kind of ticking along with your dentistry business.
Yeah, the dental business has done very, very well.
What was the impetus? Obviously, it was kind of the environment and everything else, but what made you how did you take that step to get into kind of a startup at the same time?
I've always had an entrepreneurial mindset, and I can't really switch off the ideas that come into my head. So it's always been a matter of time. My brother and I, who is similar of mindset, created a protein fruit smoothie brand about 10 years ago called Blends with Benefits. Which
that's a good name, but it should be a hairdresser's.
We didn't quite manage to get off the ground, but there's been a series of those, and obviously one of our mutual friends, Philippa Emma Curtis, we've had various business ventures in the past together as well. So it's part of who I am as a person, that I just felt the need that I needed to do. I needed to have a brand. Like I love branding. It's one of my favorite things, and that's where it came from. And as I mentioned earlier, I was doing this promotion for these big brands, which in the industry is like a real credibility piece. I mean, the top people get asked to do those gigs, but it didn't sit right with me ethically and sort of authentically who I was as a person. So we just thought we could do better, really.
I have to admit, that's really interesting, because I kind of always thought that, the adverts you see where you see somebody stand up there and go, I'm a dentist and I use this in my surgery. I just naturally assumed they were actors. I didn't realize they were actual dentists, I don't think.
Well, I mean,
I just assumed the whole thing was a lie.
Yeah, you can't say I'm a dentist, I guess.
I suppose so.
Can't.
No.
You could say, because I got into all of that with QVC once. You can't have people coming on saying I'm a doctor. There are all these doctor brands. And then they said, you can't have a doctor brand unless you're a doctor. I mean, when you say we, who's we out of interest in the business?
So myself, Adarsh Thanki and Rona Askanda launched a brand together. We're all dentists.
Oh, okay. 3 dentists came together. And then a sign of success, I guess, would be that one of the big boys releases a competitor, but I guess they're at a very different price point. You're in that tricky thing that this is something that, I mean, what's a packet cost? I mean, I don't even know what toothpaste costs. A pound or £1, £2.
You and Rishi Sunak.
I've just that's not fair. Do you know what toothpaste?
Yes, because I bought some yesterday.
How much is toothpaste?
That was about £2 something, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, because
Maybe
you were
3?
saying £1. That sounds a bit low. I mean, some of the toothpaste brands are £3 something, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, look, toothpaste is like many industries has got a huge range. You've got the really entry level stuff, which is £1 for like the really basic stuff. I would say the average in the UK at the moment is like £3.50, something like that, for like a reasonable product. And then as you move more towards the sort of whitening toothpaste and that sort of thing, it tends to be around the £9 mark. And then the brands that market themselves as luxury whitening brands to be more towards the sort of £15, £20, that sort of thing.
Oh, wow. People can pay £15, £20 for toothpaste. Oh, wow. I'm sorry, I've got to get all these dentist questions out of the way.
You want to know if you should be paying £15.
Should you be whitening? I mean, there's a question. British people and the famous bad teeth. You've got my brother.
I'm keeping my mouth shut at this point.
My brother moved to America and got his teeth whitened, and we were all like, Jesus Christ, what have you done? But I mean, apparently it's like the best way to improve your look.
I've just realised that's what it is.
What, that he whitened his teeth? Oh, it just freaks you out, doesn't it?
And is his hair normal colour?
Oh, it just stinks up on my poor brother.
I'm just curious.
Oh yeah, he dyes his hair. Yeah, poor James. Big up James. Poor James. But because I was thinking it's a bit like the Arm & Hammer, the ones with the abrasive agents and stuff like that. Surely is whitening a thing you should do, or is it bad for the teeth, or it doesn't matter?
So you shouldn't use very abrasive toothpaste because they will wear away your teeth and actually expose the yellower internal part of the tooth. So you'll be actually doing the opposite of what you're trying to achieve, which is whitening your teeth. Professional tooth whitening done by a dentist, when they make the trays and you go and you put gel in and you whiten them, that is a chemical process. It's completely different, and it doesn't damage the teeth. So you're more than welcome to do that, and it's something that we prescribe. So
you're better off getting a dentist to do it.
I read a stat that it's the biggest way to improve your performance, impression, appearance. That people, by whitening your teeth, if anything you can do is the sort of biggest bang for buck. That people think you're a better person. I feel it.
I don't sell it as that in the practice.
No, but I feel in Britain we're a bit like, oh, he's got white teeth. He might be a bullshitter. There's
Is that what you're thinking about me?
Well, I mean, you're a dentist. Once you tell me you're a dentist, I'm well, you've got to have lovely teeth, don't you? I mean, it's part of the parcel.
How did the three of you meet though? Was it like, were you all in kind of the same area of dentistry, or had you gone to uni together or something?
No, so I was the previous president of the British Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry, and that is sort of a community of like-minded individuals who are focused on cosmetics. Basically, Rona and myself are have similar profiles in that we're both sort of social media-y dentists. Yeah. And then Adarsh is definitely not that, but he was more a business advisor to both of us already pre-Parla. And so he was sort of the financial head behind everything. Yeah. Rona and myself were more the branding, public-facing side of things, hence why we were the ones on Dragon's Den, whereas Adarsh to stay
so you didn't do that.
What's the biggest challenge facing you now as a brand?
Well, I mean, it's a difficult time to be a startup, right? I mean, the cost of everything's gone up. It's there are fairly stiff macroeconomic headwinds. We're fundraising at the moment. It's been a tough time to fundraise with those macroeconomic situations as they are. So, I would say fundraising at the moment is the thing that's giving me the most headache.
Okay.
And it's my first time doing it as well. So it's all new for me. I'm just a dentist.
Yeah. How much are you raising?
500,000.
Okay. So a reasonable raise, not a small raise in many people's books. So, and this is really to just build up your stock or build up, what are you looking to spend the money on out of interest?
We've got a sort of, a focus on improving our acquisition strategy with regards to our marketing and our packaging. So we've got various plans to deploy the capital against that, basically.
Yeah. Okay.
But also, I mean, you need resources because you guys you all have day jobs, right? So you can't kind of give up the dentistry completely to focus on a startup. You need somebody in there.
Yeah. We need team members as well. Obviously, we have a team already, but as the brand grows, we need the team to grow with it, and that obviously requires capital to support it. We're bootstrapped up until this stage, which is quite a feat in itself in reality. But we've always felt that remaining as what we call wet-fingered clinical dentists continues to give our brand the credibility that it needs to compete against the big brands who are all saying they're recommended by dentists, but we actually are dentists. So.
Yeah. I like the description of wet fingers.
Yeah, so do I. Well, I'm not sure I like it. What's a dry-fingered dentist then?
Someone that doesn't work in the mouth. Not very good at their job.
Where else is there to work as a dentist?
Well, I'm behind a desk, I guess. Or
okay.
Doing podcasts like this.
Okay.
Also, I sold a dentist practice a couple of years ago that was basically making the kind of sort of teeth and stuff to go in people's mouths rather than like
a dental laboratory?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a lab that was making all the kind of the various different bits
restorations,
and pieces.
Yeah.
That's presumably dry work.
That could be described as dry work, yes.
Because they're not actually in people's mouths.
We could call ourselves dirty-fingered accountants.
Better than light-fingered accountants.
Yeah, light-fingered accountant. You're a light or a dirty-fingered accountant? Well, that's between me and the wife. Other than, ultimately, if you succeed, you want to walk into a supermarket and not see tubes anymore. Tubes, as far as you're concerned, are the wrong way to do it. And your solution is have a tin of little tablets that let the moisture come from the mouth. Crazy plan, and that would be success, is it? What would
plastic tubes? Yeah. I don't mind aluminium tubes; they're fine.
Oh, you get aluminium tubes. Yeah, of course. But again, would you recycle them? Because it's full of toothpaste, so we don't know what to do with them. We chuck them away. Because a lot of recycling, the assumption is if it's covered in gunk, chuck it, you know?
But at least with aluminium, it's not turning into microplastics, which are getting into our ecosystem and getting into our bloodstream. So there's no perfect solution. I mean, I think our solution is the best one because it's a truly closed loop solution where there's no waste apart from compostable plant-based bags. But there is no perfect solution. It's just the best solution. And we think we have the best one.
Yeah, it's a pretty resounding argument, isn't it? I mean, are you going to switch? I'm going to switch. Is it a less pleasant experience? It's just the same. I mean, it's
he's totally going to say, it's horrible.
Well, I don't know, but brushing your teeth's not a brilliant experience. Have you seen these toothbrushes? My kids have got these amazing toothbrushes now that you just put in your mouth and you go, Have you seen those ones? And
yes.
They're kind of cool. But there's
Sorry, can you unpack that for me?
Yeah, so
it's
little
like a
kids,
U-shape.
It's a U-shaped.
Oh, right, okay. So
with bristles on both sides. So they just sort of like bite on it like a gum shield almost, if you know what I mean, and then just do that.
Do they do it for adults?
I don't know how effective they are.
Because you just stick them in the mouth and you go, chit, 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 and they're like...
Which is better than not brushing your children's teeth, but maybe not as good as a proper...
That's the way I would describe it, yeah.
But we had someone on the podcast who was working for companies helping them build sustainable products, and he mentioned that toothbrush, which I've since gone and bought for me and the wife, and I like it very much. Sisu or... Suri. Yeah, that a British company. I don't even know. Because that's quite good, because they're, again, on this, like, you must recycle, it must replace.
What's...
It's called Suri. And actually, what's nice about it, the battery lasts forever. You know how you're permanently recharging those Braun ones and stuff? The battery lasts forever. I mean, I think my wife recharged it for the first time the other day. She was like, oh my God, it stopped working. And they just, it's just a nice, but everything's replaceable. And I mean, it's a bit back to the recycling, whether you really will. Do you know what I mean?
It's a better solution than what's out there already. I think that's, if all of us try to make better decisions, then as a mass of society, we'll improve the situation. But
do you know them as people? Or have you got in touch or anything? Because you seem like a perfect pairing of like, here's two British companies trying to,
Yeah, but we're familiar with them. We're not looking at any pairing, but they're doing good work. So I'm all for it.
On the plus side, if you've got to brush your teeth twice a day, it's really annoying and boring. But at least if you feel you're doing something good for the environment, that's like...
Yeah, I agree. I think with where you are, you should be raising a lot more money, by the way. I think 100%. Raising 500 grand is like banging your head against the table. And by the time you get the money, you give it to your solicitor and you're done. I'm joking, but do you know what I mean? It's but in reality, that's gone like that. I think you want it. I think you've got a lovely brand, a lovely story here. You want to go for it. You want to say, right.
I think it's one of those things where it's, although products are actually, I think, quite hard to raise money for in a way that
it's not sexy AI
like if
tech.
you were if you were an app on a phone or a bit of tech or even something with a tech enabled bit to it, it just sounds sexier. It is hard.
AI-enabled toothpaste. Yeah. Anyway, it's an interesting thing. What do you feel out of this? The long-term goal, I guess, is clear within this, but you sound like you might start something else. Is this?
No, there's no plans to start anything else.
Okay.
As we discussed before, I've got 3 kids and my wife may
and
kill
a full-time job, basically.
And your wife's a doctor too.
She's a dentist as
too.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
On maternity leave at the moment, but yeah, she's practicing dentist as well.
Oh, wow.
But she runs the practice in essence. So that's the dream team on that side of things. But no plans to do anything else. Parla, as I say, is my main focus at the moment. And
where'd you go internationally next? Is there, focused internationally? Where's the sort of number one toothbrushing people?
I guess it's a question of who's more focused on the environment, really, rather than necessarily, hopefully all countries are brushing their teeth well. America clearly has a huge focus on oral health in general, but I'm cautious of entering that market too early.
Yeah, I've had great advice on that over the years. You either want to go early and design everything around them, but for a product like you need to go strong. You need to be like...
Again, products are really hard in the US.
Nordics is an easy one. Australia too. Don't overlook Australia. Everyone does.
Yeah, no, I mean, getting into Australia would be great. I think there's a huge demand for the product. Obviously, there's just a practicality of how far away it is. But
your problem though is you've got to get that message out. You basically need TV, you need massive social media, TV advertising almost, isn't it? You need the Dragon's Den moments to sort of,
to keep on coming. We need to go viral like you.
Well,
say something massively
but
controversial.
The thing is to go, yeah, I mean,
should I speak with a key accent?
I should have gone viral.
I know, you should have gone viral a lot.
Yeah.
Just done it once.
Well, maybe it's you, Pippa. But no, it's in to go viral.
No, I'm fine, thank you.
No, but that's your battle. It's like, how do I get my message out? So all the people who watched Dragon's Den went, bloody hell, I'm going to use this. Now I've understood your product. I'm like, well, bloody hell, I'm going to do this.
Yeah. Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't I? I'm throwing these tubes away. I was feeling okay about toothpaste. Now I'm feeling bad about toothpaste, you know? So, I mean, that's why I'm thinking with the raising money, I'm like, Christ, you're going to need a checkbook to get this story out. And I mean, you end up almost... viral things are not necessarily going to do it because a viral is like a 30-second joke, isn't it? You need a little bit longer than that, maybe.
I mean, we're a subscription-based brand, so there's an element of a recurring revenue off sort of spikes in awareness that carries on moving forward.
It's also, I think it's a generational thing because I certainly think my nieces most of my nieces are in their 20s, they are much keener on, healthcare products that are sustainable and are going to, are good for the environment and are much more willing to listen to that than us old fogies that just go along to the supermarket and pick up the first thing that's going to work.
They've not built that autopilot quite as much yet. They're more open to change.
We just interviewed Adam. His team would probably have an idea. You need that social media thing that you keep repeating too. Like you keep getting old tubes of toothpaste and building things out of them, or something that people are interested in watching that kind of keeps making the point. But if you had you've got a hell of a CV. You've really tick the boxes. I mean, you read out his accomplishments. It's rather depressing, Pippa. What are we doing with our lives?
I know.
It's like best young dentist, best old dentist, person of the year.
He's lying about the old.
You must be the youngest. I don't know how old you are. You look very young. President. You must have been the youngest president, I imagine. Were you?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, that's bizarre. Actually, my I do have a fun
fact.
Very
Doogie Howser.
My grandfather was.
I don't know who that is.
No, because you're too young.
This is slightly different. My grandfather was president of the Dental Association. There we go.
Your grandfather was?
Yeah, my grandfather was.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
He was a surgeon and then did a lot during the war and wrote books about it. But yeah, I went into the dental place the other day and I was like, oh, there he is, Walker.
Brilliant.
What was his name? Desmond Walker. Good man. Anyway, I mean, if you made a big mistake on this journey that you'd like to share?
I mean, I've made millions of mistakes in this journey. I'm a dentist in FMCG and I didn't really know what FMCG stood for when I started it.
Right.
We've made loads of errors. I wouldn't know where to start really, but I mean, I think what I've learned along the journey is that you've got to just accept it. And I'm a complete perfectionist, and that we were talking about mental health in dentistry before. And that's one of the reasons why dentists are so susceptible to this, because I think it attracts the sort of perfectionist mindset. I've had to relinquish that very aggressively with running a startup because there are so many mistakes. You're dealing with so many different people. With us, we've got countless different ingredients in there, different packaging suppliers. It only takes one of those things to go wrong for us not to be able to supply Sainsbury's or Waitrose or Boots, which is intensely stressful for me.
And you're working with type A individuals, like you're all perfectionists, presumably.
In dentistry, yes. In startup world, no. And I think that's what the challenge for me is, that I'm used to dealing in a professional environment where everyone's a dentist or around dentists, and so there's an expectation that if you say you're going to do something on time, it's going to be done. Whereas in startup world, it's just a completely different world. And that's had its challenges, certainly.
I know you're in cosmetic dentistry, so maybe this doesn't so apply to you now, but do dentists rely heavily on income of when you go to the dentist and they've got their toothpaste and stuff they're selling? Is that like a big part of a dentist market,
No.
No. Okay. And they do that simply because, so they don't have a mindset, and probably doing more in America of like, they're here to sell goods as well. They just sort of have them on the side as like, well, if you want to
we sell them. It's more to do just with recommendation and having the product there at the point of conversation to say, this is the product that I would recommend based on whatever your dental issue is, or based on your risk status, for example. And so we have product in dental practices as well, B2B, that dentists can recommend and sell in their clinics if they want to, or they can recommend to go to supermarket.
Okay. Yeah. But in terms of where cosmetic dentistry is sitting, is this market growing heavily in the UK now? Is this
massively? Yeah.
Massively. Mm-hmm. And the main thing people do in cosmetic dentistry, is I guess cosmetic dentistry is getting braces. Is that cosmetic dentistry or not?
Well, Invisalign is a huge part.
Didn't they go bust? Yeah. Isn't who the people who went bust?
Smile Direct Club.
Smile Direct. Yeah.
So they were a DTC aligner brand, which none of us in the dental industry would ever recommend, because you need a dentist to recommend these things. You can't do it with a brand. But no, Invisalign provide very high quality clear aligners that we provide.
Are those the modern form of braces? They don't weld them on the teeth anymore. So you occasionally meet people still with welded dentists.
Yeah, I mean, there's a place for fixed braces, or we don't call them welded braces because
it sounds
not a great marketing term. But fixed braces.
Blowtorch in the corner. I'll be with you in a minute.
Just welding.
Have you ever tried that with a patient? Just start some grinding gear. They should sell dentists a Christmas box with sound effects in it, shouldn't they? Like, and just be like, it's amazing, this fear of dentists. I don't have it.
Oh, I do.
Oh, dear. It fascinates me. Why do people have it? I know the injections are quite painful,
But this is why I
use Sensodyne.
Well, no, my dentist, what I was going to say is my dentist is in Maidenhead, even though I live in London, because it's somebody I know.
Yeah, well, it's very common.
I had a dentist in London for a while, and I just didn't trust them. Like, I always
feel
like
personal, letting someone into your mouth.
I'd never had a tooth out, and then I went to a dentist in London, and they were suddenly like, "We've got to take like 5 teeth out," and I couldn't work out whether that was true or whether they were making more money because I'm not on the National Health by removing teeth.
There's always going to be people that play the system one way or the other. Either they're trying to do the least amount of work possible because they don't get paid for it, or they're trying to do the most amount of work possible because then they get paid more for it. And
all adults have to pay for their dentistry, don't we? Or is it?
I mean, you can get on the National Health, but it's
you can.
Like,
okay.
So on the NHS, for example, if you need, it's changed slightly now, but if you need 1 crown or 10 crowns, you get paid the same amount as the dentist,
okay.
And the patient pays the same amount. So you're incentivized to do less work because.
Why are we scared of dentists though? Why do you think? What's this obsession with it? I mean, we're not terrified of doctors, are we? I don't think so.
I think it's a mixture of things. I mean, I think Hollywood has certainly had a big part to play in it. I think there's countless examples of movies where dentists have been played as the villain. The media like hammers dentists like every day. And then I think the last part is just, as you say, I mean, it's not that pleasant, number one, but also you have to relinquish control. I was having this conversation with a patient today that when you're in the chair and I've got a drill running at 20,000 RPM in your mouth, I have to be in control in that situation. And just like I don't like flying very much because I'm a complete control freak, patients don't like coming to see me because they have to relinquish control to me. And so I think that's
probably it's bedside manner a bit and your early experience of dentists. I mean, there's probably an element, we had a family dentist. He was a very nice man and my dad knew him, whatever. You've got a dentist. And I know what you mean. I've went to another dentist the other day and he was like, oh my God. And then he was like, well, let's look at it on the screen. And I'm like, fucking hell, what's happening? I'm going to lose my mouth. And he's like, and there was nothing wrong. There was nothing wrong. He said, and there's your mouth. And I was like,
where did you go? Who did you see?
Oh, it was in Windsor somewhere. But I was like, what the fuck was that just about? I shat my pants for 5 minutes, I was like.
But also, I think it's just a basic thing of like, it's in your head. If somebody wanted to fiddle around with my eyes, I wouldn't enjoy that.
Mm.
Don't touch the eyes.
It's like kind of psychologically, it's kind of near your brain somehow.
True.
And it's just like if somebody wants to do something to my foot, I feel a bit more comfortable with that.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's very interesting, as you said, you get demonized in the press. My wife's a GP and is always saying, oh, it's demonizing GPs again. I don't think the public are aware of that. So dentists, are you aware that dentists have a hard time in the press? I never really, I'm not reading the dentist news. Is this in mainstream press, the way they're talked about?
A case in point would be a husband murders his wife, for example. Millionaire dentist murders his wife. It's always put in there.
That's true.
As
Columbo episode, almost.
As the front part.
And that's going to be the same whatever your profession is, right? Because they need to describe you, so it's going to be
no. It's true. In Columbo, there's a lot of deadly dentists. Actually, it's one of those roles that they seem like nice people, but maybe they're not nice people.
It's an easy target to hit, right? Because no one likes going to the dentist. So let's reinforce that rhetoric in the characters that they portray.
because the other medical stuff, most of the other medical stuff is NHS, and therefore you kind of can see doctors as doing a good job and not necessarily being paid very much, etc. Like there's a kind of people kind of brand dentists as they're out for money
making. And thingy Sweeney Todd, he's not a dentist, but I think of him when I think of dentist for some reason.
He's a chair.
He's got a dentist chair.
Yeah.
The funny thing about all of this is I find almost problems with, I don't know if it's problems with capitalism or something, but you feel like what you're saying is making a lot of sense. So why isn't, on a national health basis, on a looking after the country basis, do you know what I mean? There's not good advice out there. There's not they tell you what kind of toothpaste, like you're saying, you can buy the wrong toothpaste and it brays your mouth away. I just find it really strange. This sort of, we waste money on ads trying to get people voted in, but we don't just get out. There should be government, Singapore's about one of the only places that does this, that they're kind of almost a dictatorship. So they're kind of this is what you need to do, and not all of it's correct, but they come out and say, look, we got to stop using plastic tube toothpaste. So we're going to do this.
I was going to say, unfortunately, things like children's oral health. I mean, the number one cause of children going under general anaesthetic in the UK still now is them having their teeth taken out because of dental decay. It's 2024. I mean, I can't believe that that's still an ongoing issue. We should have solved this already, either by better public health information around diet or better public health information around oral health, or just stopping huge food companies selling kids' food packed with refined sugar.
Yeah, 100%.
Why is that illegal?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense. There's an obesity epidemic. There's a dental decay epidemic, and yet nobody seems to be stopping these companies from selling products packed full of sugar.
Because it makes money.
Because it makes money, exactly.
You look a young man, but back when we were young and there were 4 channels, you did get the odd bit of government advice. Come on, very rarely now and then.
Apple a day.
An apple a day, throw your rubbish away, whatever.
I don't think that
Keep
was the
Keep it tidy.
I think you got the wrong message, but anyway.
But now it's information saturation, isn't it? But I don't know how you can't just pass a law and say, oh, I don't care. We they've got advertising budgets. I mean, they're so busy trying to get us elected. There's all this shit in the press about who did what, and everyone's so angry, and it's who fucking cares? Yeah. Can we run a society here? If we were running a society or business, we wouldn't say, okay, we're going to spend 90% of our time arguing about things that no one really knows the answers to, and whether or not so and so had a blowjob. And meanwhile, down the corner in the bottom, there's going to
be talking about Boris.
Yeah, we always bring up Boris, but down in the corner, there's a little section saying, "Oh, by the way, you should."
All of our kids have got holes in their teeth.
Yeah,
maybe we should sort that out.
Maybe let's do something.
The fundamental problem with that, though, right? Yeah, is that you would have to make appointments available to people on the NHS, and that is currently not something that the government can afford to do.
Oh, well, no, I'm doing prevention. I'm not doing join the NHS. I'm just doing
still got to go to
basic
a dentist.
Advice.
No, but I mean, Andy's right. There's a complete lack of focus on prevention at all. I mean, why are all dentists, or not even dentists, even oral health practitioners going into schools, every single school, and giving oral health advice to all the kids and all the parents?
Brilliant place to do it when they're young and susceptible. I
don't know if you, obviously we were talking about the U-shaped brush earlier. I mean, that's obviously, you bought that because you've probably seen an Instagram ad or something.
My wife does a lot of research, and it's hard to get your kids to brush your teeth.
You're preaching to the converted here.
Sorry.
But all my point is not a dig. It's more just it's not necessarily come through a government-funded recommendation on how to clean your teeth. I personally don't know how effective that brush is. It's certainly not something I was trained on at uni.
I think when you're dealing with those young kids when they're 3, you get a better result.
It makes sense. I do agree.
Because you're like fighting with them otherwise. At least you're like,
barely getting the brush in. Yeah, exactly.
You know.
But I think why my point is really, why are you as a parent having to take that decision into your own hand rather than being told what to do? You know what I mean? By the government or by the NHS.
We don't like to be told what to do either. And I would phrase it slightly differently, but there should be sources of like, look, by the way, this is some stuff we should do. Anyway, sorry, moving on.
Yeah, best advice you've ever been given.
The first thing that came to mind was a quote. I didn't receive the advice directly, but I think it carries the best weight with it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Naval Ravikant or his book, The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. It's a brilliant book. But yeah, so Naval Ravikant is he's a billionaire, angel investor from the States, but he's also a very sort of spiritual and interesting chap. And he has this quote that says, a healthy body, a calm mind, and a house full of love. These things can't be bought, they must be earned. And I think it's a really nice, I think about it all the time as a framework for decisions that I make. Why am I doing things, like focusing on the wrong things as opposed to the right things? So
I think you should maybe email him, tell him how much the quote meant to you, and see if he's interested in investing.
Or coming on this podcast.
Hopefully he'll be listening.
Saying I went on a really unprofessional podcast the other day with these 2 weirdos. You must check it out. I like that. Healthy body, calm mind, and a house full of love. That's good. And then his following point is that these things can't be bought. Yeah, they can't really be bought, can they?
Unless you take a Ozempic, maybe.
I mean,
joke,
yeah, no, I mean, it's funny. Although money might have a part to play in some of them, strangely for society, like a calm mind, it shouldn't. But you know, it's hard to be calm if you're broke, I guess, or maybe it's not. You know.
But a house full of love might be less likely if you're a multi-millionaire and your wife is marrying you for the money.
Actually, it might be less likely. You're right. Could be less likely.
Mo money, mo problems, as they say. If we're going to get back to the rapper in you.
Yeah, well, it's a bit like my kids. I don't know, yours won't with their age differences probably, but mine, my 2, we had 2 little rooms for them. And then one day, like my daughter dragged her mattress into the other room because they're scared. They're so much happier sleeping together.
Mine sleep together as well.
Yeah. And then our bedroom is like opposite and we have all our doors open. I mean, frankly, we could just be we could all sleep in a room this big. I mean, we really could. And actually, I'd really like that.
Yeah.
Except sexy time. When that happens,
that would be awkward.
When it happens,
drug the children. It's your only option.
They don't care because my wife deals in that area. They called it like you would say a bouncy cuddle. That's what kids will say, something like that. They say, "Oh, mummy and daddy were having a bouncy cuddle."
It really does take a lot of the sexiness out of it.
Doesn't it? But that's a child is not bothered because it's their mummy and daddy and they love and they're doing this weird. It's like when you find your dog looking at you. He's just like, although my dog's jealous of my wife because he came first and he wants to have sex with me. On that bombshell. Where did we get to?
What's the worst piece of advice you've ever been given, and was it come on this podcast?
Funny. I couldn't really think about bad advice. I mean, I think every conversation that you have has an opportunity for you to learn something, whether it's pointing you in the wrong direction or the right direction. I don't know. I try to think about it from a positive point of view. So I couldn't think of a clear example. Do you
have a particular mentor? You mentioned Adash, was it? Is there someone that you've gone to as mentorship along this journey?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've got mentors in all the different areas of my life, really. But with regards to the Parla journey, I think Emma Curtis, who's the MD of Strong Roots, has been a real sort of.
What's Strong Roots?
It's a plant-based frozen food company that's just sold to McCain.
Okay. You know her as well, do you?
I do. She used to work for Giles.
Okay. And she how did you meet her?
She is married to my best mate, and we're as two couples, my wife and my friend and her, we're sort of all very close together. So
It's hard to navigate, isn't it? Because it's such a particular market. I mean, because we buy this stuff, you have some knowledge about it because you're a consumer. But, to understand, I mean, really that it's about manufacturing, really it's about sort of...
And margins and promotions.
God,
and
is it all M's? It's margins, manufacturing, and motions. Yeah. What did you say? Emotions? What did
Promotions.
you say? Promotions. Yeah. Okay.
Because it's all about supermarkets, basically. And the amount of money that the supermarkets kind of cream off a product.
Yeah.
Then they want you to do a promotion at half price.
Well, I mean, I thought once I remember the day that I got into Boots, which was our first retailer, and I think it was my birthday in like 2020. And I ran around the garden because I was like, with my daughter, and I was like, well, we've made it.
Yeah, that's it. We've done.
Get me the yacht now because I'm done. And it is like, no.
It's when you get your first sales reports, don't you? You get like, it's gone gangbusters, hasn't it? And you get your sales reports like, didn't sell any, 30% of the shops didn't sell a damn. And they're like, yeah, you should send someone down to help or something.
But it's all about, where, it's not just about the amount of shelf space you have. It's about where on the shelves you are.
Do you have to do a lot of talking in your shelving too? If you've got a little carton that does talk, I mean, that's what they talk about, isn't it? How you shape your carton and how it talks to the consumer.
Well, thankfully, again, on Emma's advice, we spent a lot of, at that time, certainly a lot of money on our branding and our packaging and how we presented ourselves. So I think that's really helped to make us stand out on shelf, and it's something that we continue to iterate on. But yeah, we've got to do a lot of talking and basically tell that story of every tube of toothpaste you've ever used still exists somewhere on the planet.
That's scary, that line. It's a good line. Just get a
everywhere.
t-shirt that says that,
Is there something, I think we probably answered this one. I think the whole podcast has been about this, but is there something you think is bullshit in your industry and why?
Well, I mean, greenwashing and gimmicks, really. I mean, that seems to be what most of the brands in our industry tend to focus on, is the marketing claims that they can make against what they're putting in their products. It's something that we've tried to be sort of authentically against in everything that we do. I've had so many opportunities to use cheaper, less sustainable packaging or cheaper ingredients that aren't vegan or palm oil free or ethically sourced. It's very easy to do if you're purely focused on the margin. But I
mean, do they still claim they're kind of green, even though they know they're putting their toothpaste in a plastic tube?
Well, I mean, recyclable toothpaste tubes is not a real solution to the problem, but you can put a little green circle on and people think that it's a green, it's the solution to the problem. But as we discussed earlier, it's really not. So it's those sort of things. And then
that's exactly when you're buying it off the shelf too. You see this little symbol and it relieves you.
It's fine.
You think, it's got the green thing on it, you know. I'm all right, and you've got to buy it. It's toothpaste. You can't say, well, I'm, stopping toothpaste.
Or you do a Kanye and replace all your teeth with, what was it? Titanium.
The greenwashing, what I was saying is greenwashing is so subtle because it's like, it's part of this game. Anyway, I just end up back at the same thing. We need to radically change our habits and we don't like it.
Mm.
Okay, Simon, welcome to the Quickfire round. This is where we're going to ask you a list of questions to get to know you a little better, and you have to answer as quickly as possible.
Okay.
It never works. D, cue the music.
Cha-ching. What was your first job?
Receptionist in my parents' dental practice.
Oh, your parents were dentists.
Yeah.
I've been meaning to ask that.
What was your worst job?
I mean, I've done a lot of jobs in my time. Probably working at Café Rouge as a waiter.
That's not great. Although the people who tip you aren't the ones that you expect. Anyway.
You learn a lot, certainly.
Favorite subject at school?
Biology.
What's your special skill?
I'm a trained snowboard instructor.
Pull that out the side bag, didn't he?
That's a good special skill.
But you like the beach, you said, not mountains.
I like both.
There's a lot of water on a mountain.
That's a good point.
It's
good
in
point.
a
frozen.
particular form.
Good point. What did you want to be when you grew up?
A photographer.
What happened? Sorry.
I actually take a lot of photos of teeth now, but it's not really the sort of photography that I wanted to do.
It'd be quite a mad exhibit though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You like coloured them or something. Anyway.
What did your parents want you to be?
They actually didn't recommend that. They didn't not recommend that I was a dentist, but they didn't push me into dentistry. So for some reason, I spoke to a kid at school who said, you never want to do what your parents did. And that's why I ended up doing another degree before I did dentistry.
What was your first degree?
Pharmacology. But they didn't really push me into anything. They just wanted me to be happy, really.
So you'd done pharmacology. You could have gone on and just
done drugs.
Been a pharmacist or done drugs.
Yeah.
You decided to go back to university and do dentistry.
I decided for my first year that, well, number one, pharmacology definitely wasn't for me. But funnily enough, the guy next to me in halls, who ended up being one of my best men at my wedding and is godparents to my kids now, he was a dentist. And I saw this like amazing community that he had, how he was using his hands, how he was using his sort of, I obviously already had a sort of a passion for science. And so it just clicked at that stage. Like literally first couple of weeks at Bristol was where I did my first degree.
That's what I did mine.
Oh, was it? Mm-hmm. Great university.
Yeah.
For dentistry.
I did my dentistry at King's. So I did pharmacology at Bristol.
What you're describing there is, I would say, the life of a professional, isn't it? The nice thing, and my wife doesn't have it at the moment because she's working in a hospital in A&E and it's just been, but she's about to start doing GP stuff again. Yes, you can have a little community being your clients and your people and you can look after them. That's quite nice. Hello, John. How's it going?
But even in the profession, I mean, that's why, for example, the BACD, the Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry, I love so much is because it's a community of individuals who all have a very specific passion. And there's something really nice about that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not unusual, for example, for professional people to end up with a lot of friends that do the same thing.
Yeah. Well, you're all going through the same thing.
I mean,
together,
I have a lot of legal lawyer friends.
I feel like Tom Jones should be able to trademark. It's not unusual because I can't hear it any other way. There is a concept in trademark law that when it becomes so virgin habit, you can trademark a word if it becomes so
ubiquitous.
Yes, thank you. God, you saved me there. I was going to desperately reach for that word. That, when you say the word, people think of virgin, they actually think of the company as much as they think of, I think they think of the company probably more if I said to you, Virgin did this or something, or,
so
it's how you phrase it.
By getting that
big. So I think it's not unusual. It's almost got to the point that he could say, well, it's fine.
So you'd be using it, Philippa.
Yeah. It's not unusual to be loved. Did we finish? Karaoke. What's your karaoke song?
Save Tonight by Eagle Eye Cherry.
Never heard of it.
You never heard of that song?
I'm just going to sing it for
maybe
you.
What's the
Save Tonight? You not heard that song?
No.
You can look it up afterwards.
I'll look it up afterwards.
I'm not singing anymore.
Office dogs, business or bullshit. And bear in mind you might upset
business, I love it.
Have you ever been fired?
I mean, I've not been employed that much in my life, to be honest. I've been my own boss for quite a long time. So
it's hard to fire yourself.
Sometimes I should do.
What's your vice?
I've got many. Probably drinking too much.
Okay, good. Thank you. I think he's the first guest in 400 fucking episodes that has actually admitted that they drink out. David Yarrow says he drink whiskey. That was the other one I remember.
Most of our guests answer it like it's like they're being interviewed for a job.
Well, maybe I'm too perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I just do too much for the community.
Yeah, I just over-exercise.
We have one person admit to dope, big them up. It should be 60% alcohol and sex.
Too many. What did you call it?
Yeah.
Bouncy cuddles.
Bouncy cuddle time.
Alcohol and bouncy cuddles.
Top 5 tips for founders and entrepreneurs. It doesn't have to be 5. Have you got some tips for people having gone through it yourself?
Well, I think, we spoke quite a lot about mental health in dentistry today, but I think mental health in startup world is quite a big problem as well. Certainly I've done a few startup events now and it seems to be quite a big topic. So my biggest focus on that is just make sure you're prioritizing the core pillars of health. So exercise, sleep, diet. I think founders are guilty of not focusing on those things because they think they're going to be more productive by doing more work, which is not true according to the evidence.
Yeah, this concept that you should take, people who are much better at thinking, take a break for half an hour, walk around the block and have a moment and then come back to it. It's driving. I mean, I don't know in founder culture. It's mixed though, isn't it? But, when people don't have money, I mean, you get some animals.
It's a split sort of thing. I have to say, I've said this before, but I can normally tell how successful a startup's going to be in that the startup founders that say to me, I really need a holiday. I'm having 2 months in France and go on holiday on a regular basis. Their startup doesn't tend to work.
Yeah, isn't it a bit, I mean, just being bit business without bullshit, isn't it a bit pussy? You're going to be a startup, I mean, it's,
I
you're just
agree.
saying from a productivity basis, you're probably better to take it easy.
I'm not saying Gen Z, let's put our feet up and work 2 days a week. Definitely not saying that.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is make sure you make time to, so I exercise every day at 6 a.m. So I'm not saying don't put the hours into the job at hand. I always joke with one of my team members that there's no holidays from a startup because you are 24/7 on. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't do the key things that you need to do for your
partly
health.
you're going to say, look, if you're going to really stress your body, then try and look after yourself. I mean,
And
I find
will
it almost.
burn out.
I find it almost. I mean, in my dad's generation, my dad would really roll his eyes at the fact that people now go to startup events and complain how they're all working too hard and they've got mental health issues. I mean, that's so 2024 to him. It'd be like, you're fucking trying to run a company, get on with it. There was a war,
But
it's
burnout
like
is
people die.
a genuine thing,
Oh,
right?
of course.
It really is.
Of course.
And if you don't have any downtime, you don't take any time off, you go a bit mental.
Great.
But taking time off's not what I'm talking about here, though. Taking time off is fine. Don't get me wrong. But you mentioned burnout. Burnout is there's many reasons for it, but normally as a result of chronic stress. What's the best thing to do for your body for managing stress? Well, get a good night's sleep, exercise, hydrate, and eat good food. And if you do those things, and if you can do a bit of meditation, if you do those relatively straightforward pillars, then guess what? Your resilience to stress is going to be so much better, and therefore you can handle the inevitable challenges that come up when running a startup.
I don't know if they're that easy to do, though. I mean, I think they are for, younger generation again, which all seem to have grown up fitness mad, and everyone's the education got through. They've all given up alcohol. No one even go near a cigarette shop. I mean, it's hilarious. But everyone's vaping and taking ketamine apparently. But I mean, that's it. I mean, it's hilarious. It really is.
I think that's what a lot of people get from exercise.
Yeah, I get it from exercise, or even snowboarding, for example, where you have to concentrate on something. Otherwise, you're going to seriously injure yourself. You can't think about everything else that you've got to do, and so the mind, I believe it's the prefrontal cortex specifically, has an opportunity to actually just stop being bombarded by all this data all the time, all this dopamine from our phones, from the news, from everything else, from our jobs. I think that's why burnout is such a big thing at the moment, is because everyone's like this all the time. Yeah. All these young people in business are literally on their phones 24/7.
I can't
they don't
cope with
switch
it.
off.
Greg, my brother gave me fantastic advice, which causes people some stress sometimes, but I turn off all notifications.
I've got none on my phone.
I remember 5 years ago, he said to me, I was talking about something else and being stressed. He was like, listen to me. And he's 10 years older. Turn off all your notifications. It takes you half an hour. And you do not miss it because you're going to look at WhatsApp when you want to look at WhatsApp.
But it's also, 25 years. I've been a lawyer for 25 years, right? And 25 years ago, when I first started, we only had one access to the internet in the building, and people would contact you during work hours, and then that was it. Yeah. I mean, now because of this kind of thing, I will get emails from clients or phone calls from clients at 10 o'clock at night, at 11 o'clock at night. Or, no, it's not normally you. It's not you.
You did say it was him.
Yeah. No, it's not. But, it'll be and I'll have a client say to me, I phoned you last night and you didn't answer. It's like, yeah, because I was hammered and I didn't think it was the best idea.
Yeah, I've learned that. Do not write emails on your mobile. I learned that on the BlackBerry age. 12 p.m. in the pub, if someone's annoyed you, correct this piece of complicated tax advice. And the next day you're like, oh shit.
But we all have unreasonable expectations for everyone, right? We all expect every instant responses to anything we do.
Yeah.
And that's just shit.
But it's also terrible for our brains. I think they call it popcorn brain now, that we are just constantly like this all the time, and it's terrible.
That's why everyone's getting ADHD. It's just going through the roof. Maybe
quite likely. I mean, is it surprising that when kids do this 24/7 all day, and then they go and sit in a classroom that they can't concentrate when the teacher is teaching them about the Battle of Hastings.
Have you got any recommendations on things we should read or watch or listen to? I can't believe you have any time to do anything other than...
Read, watch, or listen to. Well, I've already recommended The Almanac of Naval Ravikant, which is a very good book to read. What am I reading at the moment? I'm reading Unstressable by Mo Gaudat. I love Mo Gaudat. Soul for Happy is also a very good book.
Mo Gaudat too.
Mo Gaudat's the ex-chief business officer of Google. And very sadly, his son died when he was 19. And he wrote a book about sort of a very practical engineer's mind to dealing with stress. And obviously acutely stress of, I mean, he's had the worst experience that anyone could ever experience, right? And then he lost his son. So yeah, it's a really good book. This book is also very good. So that's what I'm reading at the moment.
So this is one of our most favorite things in the entire universe, the business or bullshit. Fucking sell it. Excuse me. Business or bullshit Bob game. We're going to reel off some terms. You got to tell us whether you think it's business or bullshit, and we have a right to challenge you and generally wave our paddle at you. And
Don't hit me with it.
D, start the music. Please hold your paddle up clearly when you're answering and say clearly what it is.
I think I know what the answer to the first one is.
Okay, and we're off.
B Corps.
Was it difficult?
Yeah, very difficult. A
Was it?
year in the making.
A year in the making.
But I mean, it was difficult. We built the brand as an ethically focused, like planet, people, animals.
But you just
brand,
get registered, don't you? Or is the levels of your like certified B Corp? Isn't there like paths to it, like having the symbol? What does it mean in green?
You can be. What's the one before your like B Corp pending? I think you can be.
Oh, so B Corp means you've got enough points.
Yeah, B Corp means you've been certified. You've got
You've
enough
been
points.
certified. So I see that symbol.
Points,
it means. And did you think, just being an honest Brit, some of it, I mean, honestly, this is a load of nonsense for a small company or whatever, or was it all pretty constructive framework?
I thought it was well done. I mean, it was suitably difficult to do, even though we'd made the brand, like it was literally built to be a B Corp. And it still took us a year. So
what do you have to do? Fill in forms and like sort of tell them about it, or
yeah, you need to basically prove everything you're saying. I mean, they go deep into your articles.
Oh, it's a correspondence almost with them. I want
you
to
have
apply
to change
for
your
B Corp.
articles to include B Corp. Kind of
ethos.
Yeah.
Thing.
Ethos. That's what you're saying.
It's really hard changing your articles.
Okay, very good.
It's really easy.
Would you recommend it?
Yeah. No,
Do you think like
it's
all
great.
companies should be like? Ultimately, we should live in a world where everyone could achieve B Corp status, like, you know, or is that not possible?
As long as they hold their parameters of what it is to be a B Corp.
Probably
then
if you're
I think
like
it's a good thing.
a petrol station.
Yes,
it's
I mean,
not going to work.
Some of it's not going to work. Anyway, silly questions.
But then maybe we should be stopping petrol stations.
I think we are. Aren't
That's
we?
a whole other conversation, which we do not have time for.
The collapse of the petrol station. Sweat equity.
Random. Sweat equity. I think that's legit.
That's built business. Yeah, not one of our best questions, I don't think.
Looking successful to be successful.
Looking successful to be, so fake it till you make it. Kind
I
of.
think so.
I mean, I'd probably say bullshit. I don't think like. I think it's just too much like LinkedIn. Everything's fantastic. We're doing incredibly well. So that's what I think of. I do agree with fake it till you make it to a certain extent, because you need to build that confidence, and everyone has to start from zero. But looking
honesty is
successful,
quite useful too sometimes.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Bluffing, basic. It's similar but different. I decided to go through with it. It's basically bullshitting in a meeting to get, can you supply 1 million tubs on Tuesday? Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, that's just business, isn't it?
I think so.
Like
Worry
you
about
just
it
make it
afterwards.
work. Yeah. I've definitely had that before.
Breakfast meetings.
Breakfast meetings, I've probably had like one in my whole life, so you know, I'm working out.
5-year forecast.
Well, that's obviously going to be that one.
Yeah,
isn't it?
thank you very much. Glad we didn't have to discuss that.
Mentors.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff.
We've talked about that already.
Oh, have you got one of these? Founders' egos.
Yeah, I mean, I've definitely got one, but they're necessary. I think.
Are they?
I think so. I think every founder has to have an ego. You've got to have an unrealistic expectation of yourself to start a brand and think you're going to get it on the shelves.
What is even an ego? When we say it, we mean arrogance.
Do you want me to call Freud?
Is it a Freudian definition?
Yeah, the ego and the id.
Oh, that's right. That's just like the two states. And what do they mean? One creeps into the other.
The ego is yourself, and like putting yourself
what you want.
first. Yeah, and I don't know what the id is.
Oh,
I mean, you do need to like.
And then Thingy developed it to make it a bit more sense, Anyway, Freud. Who came after Freud? Frug, isn't it?
It's lesser known.
Freud.
I really know.
Who studied under Freud?
It'll come to me in a minute.
So he's really the father
give
of
it
it
a
all.
moment.
All right, anyway, this is falling off the. Where did we get to?
Is it my TikTok?
Oh no, too old for that.
Bullshit.
Hate it.
Really?
How old are you?
interest. How old are you?
37.
Do you not think you need it nevertheless?
Yeah, I mean, my brand
advertise.
I've had a very good experience with Instagram in that it's really boosted my career. I've got like 27,000 followers. It's got me loads of patients. It's really helped with all my businesses. I don't know. Maybe it's just like classic.
Do you enjoy doing it, posting and whatever?
I do because it gives me an opportunity. I've got a nice community on there that I have a good opportunity.
You do a little video and so you do it all yourself, or you get help with it?
I do my personal one on myself. Yeah.
I'm throwing away the Instagram card.
Yeah, we've done that.
Yeah, done it. I know. We need to shuffle
I
these
think you were
cards,
thinking of Jung.
Yeah. Carl Jung. Carl, he's got a K. See, Carl. Okay. Is it my go?
Yeah.
Oh, Russia. I love this question.
Can Russia be business or bullshit? I guess.
I don't know. It's complicated.
I try to avoid political conversations.
Yeah, fair enough. I think we've already covered this, but investment TV shows.
Yeah, we love one of those.
Do you think some are better than others? Would you like go on?
What other investment
Shark
TV
Tank
shows?
Or whatever it's called?
Yeah, I go on Shark Tank. Yeah, I've never really watched it, to be honest. I think the interesting thing about Dragon's Den is that it's still one of the most watched. Like, it's still people actually watch it. Do you know what I mean? No one watches TV, but people still watch.
It's very watchable. It's
I've
very
never
watchable.
actually watched a whole.
Because it's people. It's people. It's like
I love it.
like Tomorrow's World when we were little, and you get people with the inventions.
He won't know what Tomorrow's World is.
I do. I know.
No. He's a science man. He would have loved it. But it was like invention time. Dragon's Den's a bit like that. You get to see inventions. Do you know what I mean? I almost watch it as a shopping channel in a way, like that.
I do slightly. The times I've watched it, it's been to go, well, that will never work, or that looks all right.
You get them wrong though.
I used to play Drinking's Dragon Den when I was at university.
What's
really?
Drinking's
What
Dragon's
was
Den?
that?
Quite a fun drinking game. You basically bet on the pitch after you've seen it how many shots you're going to do, and then whoever loses.
How many shots are you going to do if they get their funding?
Well, it depends on what your bet is, but you're betting on the pitch basically.
Fuck it out. Who's keeping a record of all this? This get complicated quickly. 5-1 even. I think last two. Yeah, last one. I think my word is my bond.
Yeah, love it. I'm passionately authentic and honest.
Do you think that's a particularly something people say it's faded? Do you think it's particularly attached to Britain, or this concept of my word is my bond? I don't need a contract. I don't need a written contract. If I tell you I will do it,
you do need a written contract.
No, but that is the concept of my word is my bond.
You're trying to destroy my livelihood.
Yeah. But
No, but I mean, I think it's difficult in business. Like as I say, I really personally value authenticity and honesty, and I'm probably too naive in that way. Not wanting to sound like the people that said like I care too much, but like that's just who I am, and I can't really turn it off. And it has got me in trouble in the past, where actually not everyone is trustworthy.
Yeah,
and not everyone is quite so transparent.
Yeah, and you can get like taken out by it. So you just got to decide how you want to live, I guess.
I also think, and I've seen this today, that sometimes you can have kind of founders in a business or whatever, and they can have a conversation, and yet they just don't quite understand each other. And they come out with completely different ideas of what they've agreed. And until you come to that point where you sit down and say, right, what are we actually going to write in this, shareholders agreement or whatever, and discuss it. And it's only at that point that you discover that they were both thinking completely differently.
Yeah. So true.
Devil's in the details.
And if you haven't written it down, it then ends up in, But you said you were going to, we agreed this. No, we didn't. We agreed this. And then there's a massive
you
row.
basically need a contract out in the door when it goes wrong. That's why you need a written contract.
Or when it goes right.
The expression of my word is my bond is, okay, I need a contract to define the terms if it goes wrong, but forget about the fucking contract. I've got you, let's just make this happen.
Let's shake on it, yeah.
Well, there we have it. That was very good. What do you think?
I don't know. You do the scores.
Well, no, you could give a score. Why don't you give a score?
Okay. I think that was about 23,004.
Ooh, that's punchy. You did score that quite well. No, that was excellent. And anything you want to tell the world? Anything, any pitch? Do you want to just sell the shit out of your teeth products?
I think I've done it already, really.
Okay, excellent.
Just go and buy Parla.
Very good.
So there you have it. That was this week's episode of Business Without Bullshit, and we'll be back with our quiz, Business or Bullshit, on Thursday. Until then,
It's ciao.